And here I am thinking Cinder did it first. Turns out this other VTuber pulled a Cinder before Cinder. Today, we reacted to the story of NimuVT. That said, follow and comment. And what else should I react to? Drop it down below. Process that being the content creator that you are, you should be accountable for everything that goes on for your business. Right? So, like, she should know, okay, if I'm partnering with this company, or if I'm doing this limited merch or whatever, everything should be set in stone before you even launch the product. Like, everything should be set in stone. What happens if they overorder? What happens if they underorder? What happens if this and this? What happened if this and that? Like, she should have been in contact with them, and every question should have been answered of possibilities, of what ifs, before she even released the launch of her plushie or something. So that's why I'm saying, as a business creator, I do hold her accountable for what happened.
Responsibility, and more importantly, she didn't protect the people who trusted her. This wasn't a scandal that blew up overnight, but in hindsight, it hinted at a pattern of self-interest over accountability. And soon, that pattern would become impossible to ignore. In early 2022, Nimu took her audience by surprise with what she claimed was a complete accident. During an IRL stream sometime around January or February, she accidentally flipped her phone camera while wearing a black face mask. Half of her face was revealed live, and just like that, Nimu was doxxed. But surprisingly, the reaction was supportive. A wave of VTubers on Twitter began revealing their own face in solidarity. The hashtag Todos con Nimu, meaning everyone with Nimu, trended among the ES VTuber community. Many saw this moment as a sign of bravery, not shame. In fact, Nimu made a video addressing the face reveal, which went on to become her most watched video up to date, racking up over 4.5 million views. But not everything about that moment was as wholesome as it seemed. Once her face was partially out there, fans quickly connected the dots and discovered a TikTok and an Instagram account under the name of Tinai, where Nimu was freely showing her face and body. She never claimed to be Nimu on those accounts, but the resemblance was undeniable. Same face, same voice, same exact tone. Content on those accounts leaned heavily into thirst trap territory, posing in lingerie, showing off her body, and lip-syncing to flirty audios. It wasn't not safe for work, but it was clearly designed to be provocative. And that's when people started asking questions. If this was all such an unfortunate accident, why had she already been posting face and body content under another identity? Why was she making tweets in advance saying where she was going IRL, even when she was still supposed to be anonymous? Why did she have multiple on-stream accidents that exposed more and more about her? Some theorized that the face reveal was actually planned, a viral stunt to humanize her and build sympathy. Others went further, accused a viral stunt.
Wait, she replied to her own self? Dude, she's replying to her own self. What kind of move is that? How are you surprised? Or I'm not saying she's surprised, but like, why? If you're trying to say anonymous as this tiny person, why are you reacting to your own tweets on your business account? Well, I call her VTuber account a business account. Like, why are you doing that?
To humanize her and build sympathy. Others went further, accusing her of deliberately baiting people to find her in real life by announcing her public outings and streaming anonymously at those locations. Whether or not that theory holds water is up for debate, but one thing is certain, this wasn't her only slip-up. Not long after the face reveal, Nimu started doing more content that blended her real body with her VTuber avatar's face, further blurring the line between character and person. That decision drew mixed reactions from the community, especially from fans who preferred the separation between VTuber identity and real-life presence. And then she...
See, on that, I can't defend her on that a little bit. What am I watching? I'm watching, I don't know, a story of a VTuber that lost it all because she was selfish and scammed people. So I'm kind of watching the history behind how she came to be, where she was, her popularity, and then the downfall. It's not like it's happened before, right? Or recently. It's not like it's recently happened, right? Hellhound over here. Not gonna mention any names, but let's just say I know a hellhound that fucked up. And if they ever come back, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna have it, dude. They cannot come back. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, canceled in a sense. We're just reacting to stuff right now, so stick around. If you want to react to something with me, link me. Make me react to something. What was I? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so right now, they're talking about how... Yeah, they're talking about how, this VTuber, the English or the Latin VTuber started slowly showing her, like, IRL stuff more and more. I can kind of defend her on that. It's a move that people do, not just VTubers, but also YouTubers. Is it the smartest move? I don't know. I mean, look at Dream. Dream's a very good example of a bad move, right? He gave it an attempt. He really tried, to show his face and be like, okay, this is me, Dream. But it clearly backfired. People weren't having it. So he kind of saved himself a little bit. So I can't blame her for attempting to blur the line between VTuber and
Had
IRL
another
person.
slip up.
Oh yeah, see?
Nah, me chupa huevo, igual, me chupa huevo, eso suena horrible la cara igual.
Then
Yeah,
there
I
was
don't
a
know.
surgery story. At some point, Nimu told some people that she had undergone a dangerous stomach surgery, which led to speculations about her health. But later she revealed the truth. She had actually gotten an aesthetic surgery, an abdominoplasty, to reshape her stomach area. She eventually confirmed both the surgery and the tiny accounts were hers, but the damage was done. Fans were just left confused about what was real and what was a calculated image decision. While this situation wasn't scandalous in the way her later controversies would be, it was the moment when fans began to seriously question her honesty. On March 1st,
yeah, she's
2022,
lying.
not long after her accidental face reveal, Nimu took things in an unexpected and deeply controversial direction. She announced the launch
here we
of an
go.
OnlyFans account. The announcement came with a teaser image of the legs and feet of her VTuber model, captioned simply with her OnlyFans link. The vague message, combined with the timing, right after her IRL identity was partially revealed, led many to believe she was hinting that the OnlyFans would be about her real body, not just her avatar. And then came the bait. Shortly after the teaser, Nimu posted a photo of pixelated real-life legs and feet, heavily implying they were hers. Fans went wild. It looked like she was taking the leap from VTuber to IRL content. And yes, they were hoping for some spicy stuff. The buzz built up for nearly a week. Then on March 7, she went live to reveal the truth.
Do I know Riri Gaki? No, but we can look into it.
With over 87,000
I'm
people
down to look into
watching,
it after this.
she rickrolled the entire audience. Not only was there no spicy content, but the pixelated legs weren't even hers. They were a joke. A pair of her male mod's hairy legs edited and filtered to look feminine. Fans were stunned. The hype crushed. The disappointment was palpable. Some viewers even claimed they paid or subscribed to her OnlyFans expecting actual content, but Nimu clarified that 1. She never enabled payment options, 2. Her OnlyFans page was rejected by the platform altogether, and 3. The entire thing was intended as a troll. Technically, she didn't scam anyone. She didn't sell anything, and no adult content was ever promised outright, but that didn't stop the backlash. Thousands of people felt humiliated, misled, and mocked. Nimu brushed off the outrage,
Obviously.
suggesting it was just people getting horny and mad over something that were never guaranteed. And maybe she was right, but in the eyes of her audience, this wasn't
Again,
just
we'll
a
look into it
harmless
right
prank.
after this.
It was another reminder that when it comes to trust, Nimu was always towing the line, sometimes literally. After laying low for a while, Nimu kept mostly to herself. Her exclusivity contract with Facebook Gaming came to an end, and she transitioned fully to streaming on Twitch, where she continued her regular content without much issue. That peace didn't last long. In mid-April 2023, she lit the community on fire again, this time over a tier list stream. The stream was supposed to be a lighthearted ranking of ES content creators, not just from Latin America, but from the broader Spanish-speaking internet. But the tone was anything but lighthearted. During the stream, Nimu repeatedly joked about cancellation. She sang, "I'm gonna get cancelled with this one," and laughed openly about the idea of getting dragged on Twitter. Even before the stream aired, she had already stirred controversy with a tweet where she said, "I don't know who to support. The hardest decision, do I betray my homeland or do I fuck off?" Attached to the post were two selfies, one with German Garmendia, a legendary ES creator who would later face some controversy of his own, and one with Coscu, who at the time had a very serious scandal publicly attached to his name. And that's where everything unraveled. While doing the tier list live, Nimu ranked Coscu and confidently declared, "Coscu is God." She went on to say she was a fan of his, even if she didn't watch his content regularly. The community instantly called her out, because by that point, Coscu's name was already tainted with heavy accusations going back to 2020. And make no mistake, this was public knowledge. The details weren't buried in obscure channels. They were widespread across Twitter, YouTube, and ES commentary spaces. In 2020, Coscu was accused of taking advantage of a girl who was blackout drunk at his house. According to multiple reports and leaked content, he allegedly slept with the girl while she was unconscious. He took a nude photo of her, clearly passed out in bed beside him, and sent it to a friend named Momo, who then leaked the image online. The image showed both Coscu and the girl naked. Just vile. And Coscu also did multiple live streams while she was still at his house. In one of them, she is visibly asleep and unresponsive in his bed. He claimed on stream that she had been extremely drunk even before arriving, had vomited repeatedly, fallen downstairs, and hurt herself.
Dude,
he said he considered calling an ambulance but didn't. Instead, he streamed and asked his chat what to do while she lay unconscious behind him. He also described how the girl was allegedly saying things to him in English like, "I need you" and "save me," while grabbing and scratching him in desperation. Again, his own words. So to this day, Coscu has never been held accountable in court, but the details and screenshots were, and still are, widely available online. The situation was extremely well known in the Latin community, and yet in the middle of all of this, Nimu stood by him. After the backlash from the tier list stream, Nimu claimed she didn't know about the allegations. But this didn't hold up under scrutiny, especially since she never once condemned Coscu after learning the full extent of the story. What made it even worse is that Coscu was later invited to La Velada del Año 3, a massive annual boxing event for Spanish content creators streamed on Twitch. He fought German Garmendia as the main event and won. Afterwards, he was seen trash talking German, despite German still having a mostly clean reputation at the time. Nimu's praise of Coscu, especially while knowingly stacking him up against German, looked like a calculated move that ignored public ethics in favor of clout or personal bias. But for many in the community, this was the moment Nimu lost all credibility. Not because she had a bad take, but because she took the side of someone accused of sexual misconduct and abuse, laughed about getting cancelled, and never took responsibility for the platform she used to defend him. This wasn't just tone deaf, this was career suicide. On June 8, 2023, a former top donator of Nimu's named Rubs Cohen made a public call-out that would shake the foundations of her already damaged reputation. He wasn't just another angry fan. He was someone who had donated thousands, thought he was a friend, and like many others, had dreamed of becoming a Vtuber. What followed was a story of exploitation, fake business dealings, financial ruin, and emotional devastation. Here's what happened. Rubs Cohen had been one of Nimu's most loyal supporters, donating thousands of dollars during her streams, enough to gain direct access to her DMs and inner circle. Over time, he believed they were becoming friends, and when he decided to pursue content creation himself, he thought Nimu would support him. And she did. Sort of. She introduced him to her quote-unquote agency through an official-looking email. The agency was called K's Agency SPA, and it was run by none other than her then-boyfriend and manager, Kenzo. At first, it all looked professional.
Here we go. Involving the damn boyfriend again. Of course, dude. It's always the involvement of spouses or boyfriends or whatever that fuck up everything, dude. Like, here we go again, dude. Oh my god, there's no freaking way. There's no freaking way again, dude. The whole idea of bringing your significant other into their whole business and managing your business. Man, I wonder who did that.
He was given a price sheet, a full menu of services and costs for working with Nimu, Twitter mentions, IG stories, hourly collaborates, and a special appearance in a series she was doing at the time called Un Dia Con, meaning a day with. And she would sell him this entire package for the mere cost of $28,000. Baffling. But wait, he was a top donator, so with some additional discounts applied, they offered him the full package for just $11,479. What a steal. But of course, he accepted. Rubs was asked to sign a contract and submit a copy of his ID, which effectively doxed him. At first, he was able to pay about 60% of the fee using PayPal. But then problems started. PayPal began flagging his account due to the high volume of international payments. He was still heavily donating to her stream at the time, and many of these donations were processed via Western Union, making the money non-refundable. When he tried to explain this delay to the agency, they didn't offer understanding. Instead, they threatened him. The contract had a penalty clause. If he couldn't pay on time, he would be charged a 200% late fee on the entire
200?
original price, not just the unpaid balance. The longer he stalled, the more pressure they applied. Even Kenzo himself began appearing in Rub's stream, telling him to answer his Discord messages and demanding more money. And the worst part, he still hadn't received most of what he paid for. By late 2022, Rubs finally contacted a lawyer to sort everything out, especially since he needed receipts for tax filing. But when they tried to get a receipt from K's agency, they discovered a massive problem. The agency didn't even legally exist. It wasn't registered as a business. It had 0 employees. There were no records of official operations. Kenzo had been pretending to represent a company with infrastructure, but it was just him fronting the whole thing. During his negotiations with the agency,
dude.
Kenzo would often tell Rubs he needed to consult with the different departments of his agency, such as accounting and advertising. But when Rubs would ask for his invoices, he would always be left unanswered. Because, of course, these departments simply didn't exist. As for the contract they signed, not legally binding, of course, no digital signature, no official seal, and full of legal inconsistencies. Rubs had been scammed, and by then, he had paid over $13,000 USD. When Rubs finally confronted Kenzo and Nimu, he told them he would drop the whole thing if they simply returned his last payment of $3,500. Money for services he never received. Their answer? No. Because they couldn't guarantee he wouldn't sue them even if they gave him the money back. Kenzo just offered him a $1,200 refund out of the $3,500 they owed him. which of course Rubs refused. In private DMs, Rubs tried reaching out to Nimu directly, hoping she would help, or at least acknowledge that she was lied to the situation. But her response: "Sort it out with the company, I already gave you my services." She refused to take responsibility even though her boyfriend had acted on her behalf, using her brand, her image, and her connections. To make it up to him, she offered him more streams and collabs. But by then, Rubs was done. He didn't even want to be a streamer anymore. The emotional toll of it all eventually pushed Rubs past his limit. According to his own words, in April 2023, he attempted to take his own life due to the intense stress, financial pressure, and harassment he faced during and after the ordeal. He later shared publicly that he entered therapy and begun legal proceedings, not just to reclaim his losses, but to regain control of his life after being exploited by the very creator he once admired. It wasn't just a scam for him. It was a betrayal that nearly cost him everything. On May 18, just before Rubs made everything public, he and Nimu had a private conversation. Nimu would later claim that Rubs exposed the situation for clout and to gain fame, but the reality is, Rubs never even capitalized off the drama. He stopped streaming, his Twitter account went quiet, and he quietly returned to his old life, clearly just wanting to move on. In her video response, which has since been taken down, Nimu played choppy, edited audio fragments of their call, where she came off defensive and aggressive, seemingly more concerned with how the situation would affect her image than how it had affected Rubs emotionally or financially. She also made a telling claim: "He was the only one willing to pay for my services." Nimu had knowingly profited from this one transaction, and when it all unraveled, she washed her hands of it. And what's worse, even after everything they put him through, she had effectively scrubbed his appearance in that one stream where he was supposed to be featured. Now, one of the most disturbing parts of Nimu's story came not from trolling or shady contracts, but from something far more personal and far more damaging. During her relationship with her then manager and boyfriend Kenzo, Nimu would go on to make a devastating claim: that he had been physically abusive towards her. She told this not just to one person, but to multiple people in her personal circle. She even sent photos of bruises as—
oh, here we go, dude. Dude, at this point, I'm gonna say it. You might hate it. This is the Cinder situation before Cinder. This is Cinder before Cinder. I swear to God. Literally Cinder before Cinder. Not even capping, dude. This is so bad. If everything what this person's saying is true, and I'm assuming it is, right? They wouldn't make this video just to be like, oh, you know. But it's up to you to find out if it's true or not. Obviously, this is a like documentary of the most biggest VTubers. Land VTubers, sorry, whatever. So, this is bad. This is Cinder before Cinder. This is really bad.
Supposed evidence of the abuse, creating what looked like a serious, dangerous situation. But here's the truth. In a later private voice message, and then again in a September 2023 podcast, Nimu admitted it was all a lie. The bruises, not the result of violence. They came from consensual intimacy, and she fabricated the story because, in her own words, she wanted attention? She wasn't in danger. She was just furious, jealous, and emotionally spiraling. According to her own later admission, she fabricated the entire abuse narrative because her boyfriend had been talking to other girls and she wanted attention. In fact, she confessed that her jealousy got so bad that she broke his laptop during one of their arguments. She described herself as being toxic, angry, and emotionally unstable throughout much of that relationship. Then, in September 2023, Nimu releases a video pitched as her big truth-telling moment, her final confession. Nimu tried to reframe everything she'd been accused of, not by denying it, but by separating herself from her actions. Her explanation? Nimu is just a character. Sophia is the real person. This statement became the foundation of her defense. That much of what people had criticized wasn't actually her, but a fictionalized persona she played for the internet. She implied that Sophia, the real person behind the screen, was different, more vulnerable, emotionally damaged, and misunderstood. She admitted she had jealousy issues, frequent emotional outbursts, and described herself as an angry, unstable person during her relationship with Kenzo. She confirmed the false abuse claim we talked about earlier, and explained how it all stemmed from feeling betrayed and financially trapped in a relationship where she was the only one bringing in income. She also openly spoke about how she had to move from Argentina to Chile to be with Kenzo, who was younger than her, 25 and 19 respectively. How they had no place to live, bounced between Airbnbs, and even had to stay with his parents for 5 months due to money problems. Throughout all of this, she continued reinforcing the narrative that her past actions, whether it was the spicy Facebook, the OnlyFans rickroll, or the Coscu tier list debacle, were decisions made by someone acting out of desperation, not malice. What came next would become a pivotal moment in Nimu's career, but for all the wrong reasons. In September 2023, Nimu appeared on—
Wait, so she's basically saying she's doing worse than Cinder. Because Cinder at least acknowledged her shit. Oh yeah, I did that stuff. And my manager did that stuff. My manager no longer runs my shit. And I apologize for everything I did. She's claiming I didn't do this. Nimu did. Nimu did this. I didn't do this. I'm Sophia. My character Nimu did this. So she's basically trying to say whenever she acts as Nimu, she's a completely different person, right? Like anything she does as Nimu is strictly for Nimu. Yeah, right. Okay, buddy. No, there's no way.
a podcast to debate Dallas, a notoriously controversial Spanish YouTuber who had previously criticized her over the Rubs Cohen incident. Things had already started escalating when Dallas uploaded a video featuring a thumbnail that suggested Nimu had scammed not just Rubs, but Dallas too. Seeing the thumbnail, Nimu was furious. She believed it would paint her as a serial scammer and feared the damage it could do to her already fragile public image. Ironically, she admitted once that she had grown up watching Dallas. She had even been a fan of his. That changed quickly once he DM'd her and later dropped his expose. The debate covered nearly every major controversy in her career, with both sides pushing back hard. One of the standout moments came when Dallas pressed her about her infamous Coscu is God tweet. At first, she said it was just a snarky jab she made while going through a rough patch, citing a breakup, burnout, and a noticeable drop in her viewership. But as the pressure mounted, she ultimately admitted it was a mistake and publicly condemned Coscu's action for the first time, saying she no longer supported him. She also opened up in detail about her past relationship with her ex-boyfriend and former manager. They met through another creator, moved in together, and she made him her manager during her rapid rise to fame. At first, he helped her secure sponsorships and pitch content ideas, but things quickly unraveled. She admitted she mishandled money, didn't understand the business side of things, and that eventually he stopped managing her altogether. The financial situation got so bad they had to move into his parents' home. Later they lived together again, but by then she was footing all of the bills while he pursued music in Chile and Miami. The stress fractured their relationship. Accusations of cheating, shouting matches, and jealousy spirals. He in turn also accused her of cheating too. At her lowest, Nimu confessed to calling a friend and saying she was going to jump into a river. In that same breakdown, she falsely accused her ex of physical abuse, even sending bruised photos for proof. It was also in that very same podcast she had admitted to fabricating the abuse claims because she was desperate for attention. The phone call eventually had gotten leaked, forcing her to publicly defend her ex and admit the truth. There was even a strange moment during the debate where she mentioned being given a possibly laced cookie by him, but the topic was brushed off and never
Wait,
explored
what?
further. Later in the episode, the conversation shifted to the Rubs Cohen situation. Nimu explained that the now infamous $30,000 price tag was never meant to be serious. She said it was a bait tactic meant to be crossed out with a discount, a common marketing trick, putting a big number on her service. It initially started as a $28,000 price tag, which was then rounded to 30,000 by other YouTubers who wanted to make it more clickbaity. According to her, it wasn't her idea, but she admitted that ultimately she was responsible. She thought she had settled things with Rubs privately, so when he released his public call-out, it completely caught her off guard. Throughout the podcast, Nimu shifted between confession and justification. She said she was sorry, she said she was going to therapy, she said she was trying to get better. But when asked if she regretted any of it, she said no. Because in her view, she learned from everything, good or bad. Things got even messier after the podcast. Despite ending the interview on seemingly good terms with Dallas, she later claimed that Dallas had threatened her, even though there was no public evidence of that. So what had actually happened? It seems that Dallas got wrapped up in an unrelated crypto scandal, and Nimu tried to distance herself by throwing out the threatening claim. Then shortly after that, she entered a relationship with Delox, the owner of the podcast channel that hosted the debate. The problem, he was still in a relationship with someone else at the time. Allegedly, he began trash-talking his ex publicly while starting things with Nimu. And together, they started attacking Dallas again, a complete 180 from the "we're good now" to
this is literally Cinder before Cinder. This might be the title of this video. Cinder before Cinder, I swear. Is it Cinder before Cinder? It has to be, right? Like, I'm sorry to say that, but dude, that's crazy. This is literally Cinder before Cinder. Like, everything she's doing, Cinder did. She had her, and then in that moment, boyfriend be her manager. She scammed people out of business deals. She herself cheated, as we're hearing right now. What else did she do? She betrayed friends. She backstabbed others. She backstabbed her biggest supporter. She scammed her fans. Like, dude, what are you doing? This is Cinder before Cinder, bro. No cap.
Nimu had said just weeks earlier. So what should have been a redemption moment only led to more chaos for Nimu. More lies, more contradiction, and the worst was yet to come. If things weren't already out of control for Nimu, the events of October 2024 took everything to a level that even her most loyal defenders struggled to justify. That month, Spanish YouTuber Dallas uploaded a video that reignited everything. In the video, he spoke directly with Kenzo, Nimu's ex-boyfriend and former manager. What Kenzo had to say was explosive. According to Kenzo, Nimu had frequent emotional outbursts to the point where the police were called to their home multiple times. He claimed she once attacked him with a knife, completely naked, and that he had to record the incident for his own protection. He also described her as manipulative and controlling, saying she would threaten suicide if he ever tried to leave or return to his home country without her. And he confirmed that they lived with his parents for a time because they had no money, and allegedly Nimu was completely dependent on him for basic tasks like doing laundry or managing household responsibilities. These claims, whether exaggerated or not, lined up disturbingly well with the same behaviors Nimu had already admitted to: jealousy, emotional instability, outburst, and manipulation. But then came a claim that crossed a line most people weren't ready for. Kenzo alleged that Nimu had once confessed to him in private that she had engaged in inappropriate acts with an animal, specifically a Yorkshire Terrier, while they were still in a relationship. He claimed she told him this directly, and that it left him so disturbed he couldn't continue the relationship. He also claimed she had been exposed to this kind of content as a child, due to her father's alleged possession of illegal DVDs, which
Yeah, no, I take that back. This is worse than Tinder. Tinder should have learned from this. Yeah, this is way worse. Yeah, this is bad. I take that back. This is bad. This is worse. Maybe what Tinder did wasn't that bad after all. Now, fuck that. It's still bad. But Jesus Christ. This is really bad. No, this is bad. Yeah, no, this is so bad. Oh, I have no words. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. This is just really bad. That's all. This stream crashed for a little bit. Sorry. I'm dropping a little bit of frames, but we should be good now. Oh my god.
were later discovered during a police raid, resulting in her father's arrest? It's good to note that none of these claims have been independently verified, and there's still no public evidence, only Kenzo's word. But the detail, the timing, and emotional weight of the allegations shattered what little was left of Nimu's public image. Even people who had once supported her went silent. After the video was released, Nimu responded by saying she would report both Kenzo and Dallas for defamation. She said she didn't care if Kenzo was trying to scam Dallas, it still damaged her image and her family's reputation. Dallas in return mocked her, nicknaming her Zufia, in reference to the disturbing claims, and even tagged the Andorran government asking for her deportation, claiming she was in the country illegally. Meanwhile, her current boyfriend Delox, the podcast host she had started dating, was now being accused of being a scammer and a xenophobe, despite previously presenting himself as—
Dude, what in the world? Who is she hanging out with? Are you now your current boyfriend's being labeled as a what? Do I want to know what that is? I'm going to Google that privately. This is a private Google for my own eyes. What is that? Oh, okay, that's not that bad. Okay. Okay, I thought that was really
a
bad.
supporter of Latin American
Well,
creators.
it is bad, but
There were also unconfirmed claims that Delox, Nimu's boyfriend at the time, had previously referred to her as emotionally abusive in private, but later denied it publicly, allegedly under pressure or incentive. This was also never confirmed. There has also never been a resolution between the Dallas/Nimu feud, or no updates on the lawsuit. This entire situation is absolute chaos. Contradictions, accusations, and then silence. No redemption arc in sight. From Facebook meme pages to 1 million subscribers, from record-breaking VTuber growth to one of the most toxic downfalls in the ES community. Nimu's story is unlike any other in VTubing history. She wasn't just caught in controversy, she was at the center of every one of them. Some say she was a victim of bad people, others say she used her trauma as a weapon. She lied, she manipulated, and she betrayed, but she also opened up, confessed, and in her own words, learned from everything she did. So here's the real question. Was Nimu destroyed by the pressure of her own success, or was she always the villain behind the screen? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This has got to be my most requested video. I know a lot of you guys in the comments have been asking for this, and I finally—
Okay, I don't know what she's gonna talk about. Oh, her Patreons. Okay, whatever. I love the video. Video was awesome. Well, it sucked, but the video itself was great. What happened about the person in the video sucked. Oh my god. Oh, that's crazy, dude. Oh my god. Anyway, she said, what did she say? She said, I like how she said,
He wasn't just caught in control, unlike any other in the ES community. Nimu's story is unlike any other in VTubing history.
Nimu's story is unlike any other VTubing history. Are you sure about that, ma'am? As far as I'm concerned. There's someone out there that messed up. As far as I'm concerned, there's someone out here that seems to be following Nimu's footsteps. I'm just saying, you know, Nimu isn't the only one out here. I don't know, dude. I'm just saying.